the city council special meeting to order for Thursday, April 30th, 2026 at 6:30 PM. All rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Moving on, item number 3, roll call. Administrator Pofus?
Councilmember Ball,
Present.
Councilmember Jensen,
Present.
Councilmember Scott,
Present.
Mayor Rogenkamp,
Present.
and Councilmember Maroney will be joining us shortly.
Thank you. Moving on, number 4, open forum. City council invites residents to share new ideas or concerns related to city business not already on the agenda. However, individual question and remarks are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. No city council action will be taken, although the council may refer issues to staff for follow-up or for consideration at a future meeting. The mayor may use discretion if speakers are repeating views already expressed or ask for a spokesperson for groups of individuals with similar views. Speakers should state their name and home address at the podium before speaking. So, before I open it up, I'll just say if you have any comments regarding the road improvements, please hold those because we'll have a separate public hearing for that. So, with that said, is there anybody here that wishes to address the council in open forum? I'll ask again, is there anybody here that wishes to address the council in open forum? I'll ask a final time. Is there anybody here that wishes to address the council in open forum? Hearing none, open forum is now closed. Item 5, consent agenda. 5A, approve city council meeting minutes from April 6, 2026. 5B, approve claims totaling $192,846.55. Checks 141054 to 141119 and e-check 4107. 5C, authorize seeking donation for 2026 Night to Unite. 5D, resolution number 19-26, authorize the opening of a new checking account and transfer of funds. 5E, resolution number 20-26, local road improvement program grant agreement. 5F, resolution number 21-26, local road improvement program funding agreement with Crow Wing County. 5G, resolution number 22-26, restricting parking along Bushman Road. And 5H, approve final plat for re-subdivision. Having read the consent agenda, is there any comments or changes from the council? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
I have a motion from Councilmember Ball. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Jensen. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. Moving on to item 6. Item 6 is a public hearing. 6A, 2025 Edgewater Circle Project Reassessment Hearing. Administrator Pofus.
Yes, thank you. At the city council meeting on January 5th, the city council directed staff to begin the reassessment process for the 2026 Edgewater Circle project. The next and final step in this process is to hold the public hearing and then consider the adoption of the final assessment roll. When pulling information from the county, staff confirmed that there are 26 benefiting condo owners. With the city's special assessment policy, this calculated to a special assessment of $384.62 per owner. Staff recommends holding the public hearing and taking any public comment.
All right, thank you. I will now open it up for any public comments from the public regarding the reassessment of Edgewater Circle project. Is there anybody here that would like to address the council? I'll ask again, is there anybody here that would like to address the council? One final time, is there anybody here that would like to address the council? Hearing none, the public hearing for the assessment for Edgewater Circle project has been closed. 6B, 2026 Street Improvement Project Assessment Hearing. I'll now open it up and I will have Nick give us an overview of the 3 projects. Nick?
Good evening. This is the 2026
Street Improvements Project Assessment Hearing. We're gonna go through project history, proposed improvements, assessment procedure and calculations, as well as some property owner information, and we'll open it up to questions at the end. So this project originated in October when the council ordered the feasibility report. The report was approved. We held a public informational meeting in December, followed by the improvement hearing. We then went through the design process, and we received 4 bids on April 2nd. The council ordered the assessment hearing on April 6th, and that leads us today, the assessment hearing. The project areas for the 2026 street improvements project are Bluebird Lane, Piney Way, and Wren Drive. Shown here are the typical sections for the improvements. The top section is for Bluebird Lane, but Piney Way is very similar, barring the curb and gutter that we have a stretch proposed for Bluebird Lane. You can see there's some ditching proposed, which we'll get into a bit later. Bottom sections for Wren Drive, which is a mill and overlay road. We're proposing to mill 1.5 inches of pavement and replace it with 1.5 to 2.5 inches to reestablish a crown.
Hey, Nick.
Yep.
Do you mind going here with the mic?
Oh,
Just so we
yeah,
can
no
pick you
problem.
up. Thank you. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Thank you.
So for Bluebird Lane and Piney Way, the plan there, what we have proposed is to pulverize the pavement and supplement that base with some additional class 5. We're gonna raise the center line of the road 2 to 6 inches in places to promote some better drainage. There's some high shoulders on the side of that road that hold water on the pavement. Here are some pictures of the plans. The top photograph there is for Bluebird Lane on the north end. The hatching shown is some of the ditching areas that we have proposed. You could see replacing concrete driveways, gravel driveways, and bituminous driveways there. The bottom is Piney Way, showing the extension and the approved turnaround layout. That's a 60-foot wide kind of cul-de-sac turnaround at the end of the platted right-of-way there. Again, 2 to 6 inches of raised center line in areas and showing some ditching in those spots there too. This portion of the plan is for Wren Drive, showing the intersection of Dove Street and Wren. In green is the mill and overlay area, and then the gray-blue is the full pavement removal and some ditching. That intersection is deteriorated further than the rest of the road, so we're planning on just removing and replacing the pavement at that intersection there. The ditch sections are shown there. Most of the ditching we have planned is the ditch type B, kind of hard to read there, but in the middle, it's a 1 foot deep ditch, 1 to 3 in slopes. Will be remaining in the right of way for all the construction limits there. There is some 6-inch ditching where the road isn't centered in the right of way, and we're not able to get a deeper ditch in there without needing to get easements. We just want to promote water flowing off the pavement. It's going to extend the life of the road when it's new. So the 2 foot deep section is for kind of the more commercial area on the north end of Bluebird there. We have some space and to get a 2 foot ditch up there, so. Project implementation, the city's assessment policy is to assess 50% for full reconstruct and FDR projects. That's for Bluebird and Piney Way. Mill and overlay and inlay projects are 25%, which is Wren Drive. Assessments are determined on a per building site basis according to city ordinance, and the term and rate is set at 10 years and 8% by council. Is what's been talked about thus far. Bluebird Lane, the total cost for Bluebird Lane after receiving bids came in at $232,618 for total project cost, as opposed to what was presented at the last hearing, which was $262,000. Holy cow, $262,000. I'll just skip that. The assessments lowered from 878 to 788 on Bluebird Lane. After bidding on Piney Way, the improvement hearing was $241,375, and the assessment costs lowered from 720 to 589. Wren Drive, we also saw a decrease in cost after bidding. The cost per year for assessments went from $125 to $95. So total cost summary, the estimated total project cost at the improvement hearing was $790,000 and went to $496,000 at, after bidding. Assessment information, so this is, information for people being assessed. Most of this verbiage is from the Minnesota statute. I'll read through some of it here. No appeal to district court may be taken as to the amount of an assessment unless a written objection signed by the affected property owner is filed with the municipal clerk prior to or at this hearing. Prepayments and partial payments are allowed up to 30 days following council resolution adopting assessments. Assessment balances will be certified to the county in 2026 with payments to begin on the following year's county tax assessment statement. Assessment balance will be amortized over a 10-year term. Interest rate set by council at 8%. Future payoff requirement after certification. Interest will accrue through the end of the calendar year. After 2026, payment in full must be made by November 8th or 15th to either the city of Breezy Point or Crow Wing County Auditor to avoid paying following year's interest. I think there might have been another slide or two on here, but is there any questions thus far? Okay. I have. Okay, so there's some property owner information here. If this project moves forward and council approves, awards the project and adopts the assessment roll, property owners should be aware of the following. Dust delays and noise should be expected. Access to properties will be maintained, but minor delays again should be expected as trucks are taking up some of the roadway. Emergency vehicle access will be maintained at all times. Entrances and driveways in the FDR areas, which would be Bluebird and Piney, will be removed to the right-of-way line. And another thing, driveway replacement will create a construction joint in bituminous driveways, and we recommend property owners seal that joint yearly too. It'll just help extend the life of that pavement, so. Sure. We're proposing to replace mailbox supports with swing-away type supports. We can work with property owners and the contractor, if this moves forward, to have people kind of, if they have some value to the mailbox support that they have now, we can work with them in the field to have them keep that. But the installed mailbox support will be the swing-away type. Property owners are responsible for relocating private items located in the right-of-way, and the city is not responsible for damage to private items located in the right-of-way. So that is all the information that I have. There's some contact information here, and I have some cards too if anyone's interested. So.
All right. Thank you, Nick.
Yep. If there's any questions, do I have to answer it into the mic, or you want me to stay up here?
You can go back and see if,
Okay.
do you have the handheld, Deb?
All right. Thank you, Nick, for that presentation. We'll now open this up. What I'm gonna do is do this, one project at a time. So I'll start with Bluebird, then I'll go to Piney, and then I'll finish with Wren. So if you're here to address, any of those to the council, please come up and state your name and your address. Keep your comments to 3 minutes, and, we'll move through these. So I'm gonna open it up for Bluebird. Is there anybody here that wishes to address the council regarding, the improvement project for Bluebird? Just state your name and address, please.
Neil Narveson, Narveson Management, 6810 County Road 11. I didn't think I had any questions, but Ally, I noticed on the spreadsheet, and I couldn't really see my copy, but Jerry showed me in the back. The first two Narveson Managements listed are the real estate office,
Okay,
And they originally were listed as one assessment. 2 lots are under that building. And so now I see them in there as 2 assessments, one for each lot.
are you talking about the one you consolidated?
No, they're correct. Later on
Okay.
the list, there's an Narvesen Management half and half for the one we consolidated, but the other Narvesen Management is just the single real estate office that has
Okay.
2 lots under it. It's easy to identify in that list, my copy's so small I couldn't really see it, but
Yeah.
there's no address for Narvesen Management on those, and so that's right there where the real estate office is.
Okay,
So I just think there's an error there.
okay,
Otherwise, everything else.
just an administrative error,
Yep, otherwise
gotcha.
everything else looked fine.
Okay, noted.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? Please come forward. State your name and your address, please.
Rita Hool. Paul and I own lot 349 on Bluebird Lane. I have a question from Leon and Donna Luther. They own lot 346 and 347. They have trouble with accumulation of water when it rains. And Leon was asking, will there be a pump installed to pump the water?
Nick, do you want to take that question?
Can you hear me through the mic here? Oh, okay. So we didn't address anything specific for that in the design. There's no pumps planned to be installed. If it's something simple enough that we can work with the contractor in the field to address that, we will. If it's not gonna, drastically increase costs or anything, so when we're out there, we can address that, but there's nothing in the plans currently that address that specific situation.
Okay.
Thank you, Nick.
We own lot 349. Is there going to be a curb in front of our lot? Sometimes the water comes down and washes out our driveway a little.
Correct. I don't know the exact location. I have the plans here. I don't know the exact location. Maybe you could actually just even come here and point it out to me and I could show you if there's
Sure.
curb and stuff.
This is where we are, lot
Okay.
349.
The right place here. You are, so here's, a highway. You are, what's your house number?
Lot 349, 8723 is the fire number.
87. No, so you will not have curb in front of your house.
No curb.
Correct. Yep. Thank you.
It was stated before in a prior meeting that the timeshare lots, 358, 357, 356, 355, 354, they're under the Breezy Point timeshare owners. They won't be built on, but they'll be used for drainage. Is that still going to be true?
I can't speak to the lots being built on, but to my knowledge, those lots are dedicated for drainage and they're being utilized in a sense in this plan as we're, kind of directing some water that direction, so, yep.
There are 2 driveways. Will they be taxed that enter Bluebird Lane?
We are proposing to assess the one lot that has access, from those 5 lots, 1 assessment for that access. The other lots are proposed to not be assessed, due to them being dedicated for drainage.
Well, there's one driveway by Pelican Square where people access 349. And then there's this other lot that you're talking about.
The lots with the,
It's by the car wash.
it's on Bluebird Lane on the north side, and you can get into Pelican Square from, it's on the northeast side of Bluebird. That lot is proposed to be assessed as well.
Assessed, okay. In a prior meeting, it said Bluebird Lane would be raised 3+ inches. Where will that be?
I can walk you through that too in the plans here. The low part of Bluebird Lane is kind of the primary area that we're planning on raising. You know what I'm talking about, kind of in between your place and where it comes back up, the lowest part of the profile there. We're proposing to raise the road in that area, and then more on the north end as well. I can show you the plan and profile if you'd like. It's a more of an accurate description than verbally.
Should we do that after the meeting?
Sure.
Okay.
Whenever.
Will Pelican Square and Pelican Center participate in this assessment charge?
I'll have to look through here and see which tax owners' names are specific to that. I don't know every lot owner by tax name off the top of my head. I'm sorry about that. So, I mean, Pelican Square, their access is proposed to be assessed. That access on the north side, on the east side of the road on Bluebird, yes.
Okay. And the interest is 8%. What interest is the bank charging?
Ally, I'll let you take that.
Oh, Lord. I quite honestly don't know the answer to that. The interest rate was previously discussed at, I think, 2 other council meetings when we
Yes.
spoke about this. That's not to say the council couldn't direct us to change it in the resolution at this time. Could they do that at this time, Nick?
So, I think her question is more, the city, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the city is not bonding or loaning money for this project. So they're able to set the rate as they feel fit. So there's no comparison to a loan that they have to pay for the project versus the rate that they're setting.
Is there any way that interest rate could be lowered? 8% is,
Well, that would be something the council would have to take under consideration talking with staff, but at this point, it's at 8%. So it would be up to the council to determine whether or not that'd be changed.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other people who wish to address, the Bluebird, Lane assessment? Again, I'll ask one more time. Hearing none, the public hearing for Bluebird Lane is closed. I'll now go ahead and open the comment period for Piney. Is there anybody here that, in the meeting that wishes to address the council or make public comment regarding Piney? I'll ask again, is there anybody here that wishes to address the council regarding the assessment for Piney? I'll ask one more time, is there anybody here that wishes to address the council for the assessment, and road improvements on Piney? Hearing none, the public hearing on Piney is now closed. Moving on to Wren. I'll open up public comment for Wren. Is there anybody here that wishes to address the council for Wren Drive? I do believe we have a comment that needs to be entered for public record. Administrator Pofus?
Yes, thank you. I put some information and a map on your desk, so I'm just gonna read it for the record. We, the Eagles Nest Owners Association, are writing regarding the inclusion of property ID number 101600741 in the proposed assessment for improving Wren Drive. We ask the council to consider the following facts. 1, the property is a corner lot at Robin Lane and Wren Drive. 2, the property is predominantly a parking lot accessible from Robin Lane and not Wren Drive. 3, the property was developed and the city asked the developer to berm the properties and plant on the Wren Drive side of the lot to not disturb the residential neighborhood on the Wren Drive side of the property. And 4, the active owners in the association that own the lot are primarily retirement age and would be eligible for the deferral of payment. We respectfully request that the council review the assessment and consider exempting the property. Considering the property does not benefit from regular use of the street and the additional aforementioned facts, this assessment feels as if it should exclude the property. And staff did review this, and Nick and I discussed with Jerry as well, and we would recommend rescinding the assessment after reviewing the property and its characteristics that they mentioned. So do with that what you will. You guys are free to keep it in there or rescind it if you wish.
Okay. Do we want to address that right now, or do I finish the public hearing?
I'd ask for more comment,
Yep,
close, and
so I
then go
thought.
for
Is
it.
there anybody else here that wishes to comment on Ren Drive? I'll ask again, is there anybody here that wishes to address or comment, the council on the assessment of Ren Drive? One final time, is there anybody here that wishes to address the council on the assessment of Ren Drive? Hearing none, the public hearing on Ren Drive is now closed. So before moving on, we had a recommendation by the council to rescind the assessment on, I gotta get the property number, property tax ID 1016071. Did I get it right? I think that's the right one. Yep, okay. So discussion by council, comments?
I agree with staff's recommendation.
I do as well.
Do I have a motion then?
Can I ask a question? I
Yes,
apologize.
go fire away.
To clarify, I believe the road assessment policy, and it's been a while, if a primary road was there, it's 100%, but as a secondary road, it normally was 50%. Were they assessed a full or a 50%? And this goes back to what does a corner lot do? Because I believe it was a full and a 50 and a 50 on those roads.
This road was proposed to be a full, but I believe because it butts up with Robin Lane, the corner isn't Ren, you know what I mean? So it was proposed a full assessment, I believe. It was the 635.
So if my memory serves me correctly, is lots that abut two roads are still qualified to receive assessments for road improvements. But typically it's 100% on the road that they access and 50% on the road that may not be an access. And I bring this up because as my property abuts two public roads, I'm fully aware that I paid 100% for the road that I'm on and serviced by, but knowing well that if that road was ever to be improved behind me, even though I don't access it, it's the back of my house, it's still a 50% assessment fee. There's no benefit to myself, and I'm relating myself with the resident, because if we make that exception, we do have other roads that this will be something that we will need to enact on for further assessment policies if we were to do any more improvements on roads that are properties that abut more than one road.
Yep, point well. Do you want me to read the language just so you guys have it? So it says, properties abutting more than one road will be assessed a full assessment on the first improved roadway and 1/2 assessment on the second improved roadway. So that's what our current policy says.
So then their main access is on Robin, right? It's not Ren.
Correct,
And Ren is just an abutting road to the property, correct?
correct.
Okay. And basically though, the assessment was gonna be for 100% originally, correct?
Correct.
Alright, so interpreting what Michael has just told us, in reality, it would be a 50% assessment for them because it's not their main access.
It is not their main access. The way that the policy is written, though, is it's 100% on the first road, which my mind wraps around, it's the main road. It's not really worded that way. It's the first road of improvement. So right now, we're addressing Ren, not Robin. So you could technically say, well, they're gonna get 100% on Ren, but 50% on Robin, which doesn't make sense if Robin is their main access. Now, in just to further muddy the waters, if there is documentation of us, of the city, asking them to berm the property, which I don't know if any of us will ever answer that tonight, that does play a little bit different into the consideration of that, but the main point I wanted to go back to was the 100% and the 50% based on our road policy with that.
So I have a question. Is this something that we can do further investigation on to determine if we have that information and then bring it back, or no? I'm just asking the
It
question.
would delay the adoption of the assessment role.
Got it,
Staff would prefer you make a decision tonight.
got it. Okay.
I don't know if we could find, I don't know where that
Just
documentation
ask the
would lie.
question, I don't.
Yep.
no. Okay.
My questions and thoughts really mirrored, where Mike's were at. It seems to me that it would be appropriate that they be assessed 100% on Robin and 50 on Ren. I don't know, even if the city did request of them to berm on the side of Ren, how that really comes into play. I mean, the property still abuts Ren.
Correct.
They're still benefiting from the improvement. So I guess I would favor that.
And that's kind of where I was going with the questioning about the 50 and the 100. To your point, Councilmember Scott, is the idea that, well, okay, even though we're gonna assess 100% because of the project, since it's the non-main access road, is it something that we determine that we assess them only 50% on this one, but when Robin comes time, they get 100% assessment on that one because it is their main access. So that was where I was looking at, because the ordinance does read the way it reads.
And I'm fine with that if that's the direction the council wants to go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we do set a precedent if we go the route of what we're thinking about, and we go against what our ordinance says,
Which we can't do.
which, so then that's pretty obvious then.
Cost for this road is lower too.
Right.
'Cause it's just a mill and overlay.
Yeah, so it's not a massive, so, I don't know, so we have a couple things in front of us. We can totally say, no, we're not gonna assess them at all. Or we could look at Ren for them and say, we'll assess them 50% rather than the 100%, which then keeps in practice with our ordinance, which does state that that should be the assessment for it, because it's not the main access road for them, which then, when the time comes for Robin to be done, they would get 100% assessment on that one. So, what's the council's pleasure?
Go ahead.
I would be more in favor of the 50% assessment due to the fact that it's not their main access. Yes, it's not the first road improved per se in this project scenario. But I think that's a general practice that we should do. So if Robin, let's say it was on the docket for next year, that would be 100% assessment, thank you. And so I would be more in favor of changing it, not removing it, but changing it from 100% assessment to a 50% to more in line with our current policy.
Is that a motion?
I'll make that motion.
If I may, that motion will be made like when we're ready to adopt the assessment rule. So adopt it with the change made to the property. Does that make sense? We're not adopting the assessment rule yet.
Okay,
That's later in the agenda. We're still in the public hearing.
oh, got it,
You know what I
okay.
mean?
Yep,
So once we
understood.
get there, then
Yep.
make your motion with that included.
Perfect, thank you for the clarification.
With that being said, once we get to that point, what does that change? Because we publicize what the assessment would be, that now changes the remainders, because that 50% would now have to be consumed by the rest of the
The
property.
city. The city
We'll
is
take it on
consuming the
you.
rest. It's not divvied up amongst the rest of the owners. It's absorbed by the city.
It's us.
Okay.
Yeah, we take that on.
Okay.
All right, any other comments on this before moving on? Okay. Hearing none, I'll move on to 6C. Ordinance 02-2026, amending the 2026 fee schedule to include administrative citation fines. Administrator Polfus.
Yes, thank you. When the council wishes to establish new fees, they must hold a public hearing to do so. As a part of the fee schedule amendment, staff proposes including two city fees. One is the administrative citation fines, and two is the cannabis registration fee. The city council adopted a resolution in 2009 setting fees for administrative citations for code violations. To be enforceable, legal counsel advised the city to include in the fee schedule ordinance. Staff proposes including the existing fees into the ordinance to ensure enforceability. And then number two, in 2023, the city council approved an ordinance regulating cannabis activity in the city. As a part of this process, parameters for a retail registration fee were established, but the fee was never included in the fee schedule. Staff recommends including the $500 registration fee in the fee schedule per our ordinance.
And just to clarify, that $500 fee is standard, correct?
Correct.
Yeah,
And
okay.
it, yes,
I'm just wanted to make that
Yes.
clear.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that presentation. I will now go ahead and open it up for public comments regarding ordinance 02-2026, amending the 2026 fee schedule to include these administrative citation fees and the cannabis registration. Is there anybody here that wishes to address the council on these changes to the fee schedule? I'll ask again, is there anybody that wishes to address the council on the changes to the fee schedule? One more time, is there anybody here that wishes to address the council on the administrative changes? Hearing none, the public hearing on this is now closed. Moving on, number 7, business items, 7A. Resolution number 23-26, adopt 2025 Edgewater Circle Project Assessment Roll.
yes, thank you. We just held the public hearing for that, so now it is time to adopt the assessment roll as presented.
So with that being said, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Ball. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Councilmember Jensen. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carried. 7B, resolution number 24-26, accepting bid for 2026 street improvement. Any further comments, Nick?
No, I can go over our letter of recommendation again if you'd prefer.
Yep, that would be great.
On April 2nd, we held the bid opening. We received 4 bids. The apparent low bidder was Ideal Construction at $354,000. Our engineer's estimate was at $433,000. We recommend awarding the project to Ideal Construction.
All right. So then does there anybody have any further discussion or comments? If hearing none, do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
All right, I have a motion from Councilmember Ball. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Maroney. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That motion carries. 7C, resolution number 25-26, adopting assessment rules for 2026 street improvement project. Any further comments, Nick? You good?
This might be a little unorthodox, but Neil, could you repeat the parcels that you had a question on?
I don't know if I can read them. Hang on here a second.
I have a larger sheet here too, if that helps.
The two up.
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify his question.
It's the two,
Is it not these two?
nope, not those two. This isn't the sheet that I had in the packet. I can see the names, but this isn't the same. So I see Narvesen Management there with one. And then those 3 in behind it are all right, but in the packet I have, there's 2 Narvesen Managements right there in my,
Mayor, if I may, we can just move on and administratively make sure that our assessment roll reflects the
Yeah.
correct information
That's
if you
fine.
want, just so we can,
We'll just keep moving on in the agenda. We can come back to this.
yeah, we'll make sure we have all the right documentation before certification.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we're
Is that
gonna,
okay, Nick?
I apologize.
Okay,
I just
no,
thought we
that's
could
okay.
clear it up quick, but.
Yeah, no worries.
okay. So let's move on then, to the next item on the agenda. We'll table this, resolution for now.
Sorry, Mayor. Adopt the resolution, but we'll,
Okay,
adopt the
Got it.
resolution adopting the assessment roll with the changes as discussed per Michael. And on the back end, we'll make sure that everything's right.
understood now. Okay, sorry, I misunderstood you. All right, so let's go back to this again. Let me get so 7 C, resolution number 25-26, adopting assessment rolls for 2026 street improvement project. So we do have a change. We're going to change the assessment for, let me get the property number. Property number 101-60741 from 100% assessment to a 50% assessment for their part on the Ren Drive improvement. Okay? So that would be included in this as accepting the rolls. Do I have a motion to accept these as changed?
So moved.
So I have a motion from Councilmember Jensen. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Maroney. Is there further discussion?
Just maybe a further point of clarification. Ally, can you talk a little bit about point 4 in the letter where it says that essentially because the owners are of retirement age, they would be eligible for deferral of payment?
Yep, so our special assessment policy, as most other cities, sorry, let me pull up our special assessment policy, has a section for deferred payments. Let me see.
And I'm asking, in light of the fact that from our discussion, I think the majority was feeling that property should be assessed for rent at 50. But are we potentially taking action in a way where if they're going to be removed from paying the assessment?
They would have to apply for deferral and we would have to accept the application for deferral. And that's a whole separate process. I don't quite honestly, I'm not well versed in our deferral process, but I do know, we have a section for it. I'm looking at it right now for deferred payment. So I'm sorry, I don't know
No, and that's fine. I
specifics
don't,
about our process.
yeah, I don't mean for us to go down a rabbit hole. I
Yeah,
just wanted
yeah.
to know if we were potentially taking action in a way that is ultimately going to be like negated, if you will.
And it could be if they apply for deferral and then that would again be absorbed by the city, but I can keep the city posted if they do. I imagine the city would have to take action on that deferral as well. To be
Okay.
quite honest, I'm not well
Yeah,
versed
no,
in
that's
the
fine.
process.
That's fine. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. All right, moving on to 7D, ordinance 02-2026, amending 2026 fee schedule and resolution number 26-26, published by title and summary. Administrator Pulfus.
Yes, thank you. We just had the public hearing for amending the fee schedule. The resolution to publish by title summary is so we don't have to pay for the entire publication. It makes it cheaper on our end to not publish the whole fee schedule. So that does require a 4 or 5 vote.
Okay. So do I have a motion?
Also move.
I have a motion from Councilmember Maroney. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Scott. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. 7E, resolution number 27-26, approved plans and specifications and ordering advertisement for bids for the 2026 Bushman Road project. Administrator Pulfus.
Yes, thank you. As a part of the process to receive the LRIP grant, there are additional requirements in the state's plan review process. Because of the timing of our next council meeting, it is likely that the state will have the plans approved prior to that meeting. Staff recommends approving a resolution authorizing the ad for bid tonight, contingent upon state aid approval as to not delay the ad for bid any further. Because we're already late into the spring season, we would like to go out for bid as soon as possible, and this allows us to do so without having to schedule a special council meeting or wait until June 1st. I did receive an update from WSB that they're submitting their final plans to MnDOT next week, which will allow us to shoot for the ad for bid in the middle of May. And I'll keep the council updated on when and if this happens and what to expect moving forward. It is a bit unorthodox, but I think we should be ready to roll once the state approves the plans and specs.
I don't disagree with that. Okay, so do we have a motion for resolution number 2726, approved plans and specifications and orient advertisement for bids for the 2026 Bushman Road project?
So moved.
I have a motion from Councilmember Ball. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Jensen. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on, 7F, authorize Witseth to complete shore view, shoulder, and riprap maintenance plan. Public Works Director.
This past winter, we observed, essentially the riprap slid up. It wasn't as extensive as damage as a couple of years ago. Nick and I both looked at the damage, as ice was coming off. It became pretty apparent, that extends the reach of the equipment we have. We have a mini excavator, doesn't have the reach to put the rocks back in place. That was the desired result, is put the rocks back in place and establish what was there before last winter. In that aspect, I reached out to the DNR. I wasn't sure if we'd need to get a special permit to work on the area or not. Yearly winter damage, generally speaking, can be repaired with no permit if it's completed within a year. I met with the DNR representative on site. He confirmed that with me. He also did confirm if we put the riprap back, he'd like to see live staking put back in place and given a chance to take. He did observe the work we did last fall, trying to get the vegetation take, and he thought that looked nice. He liked our signage. He thought that was appropriate. That would be down, after we approve this, get bids. So essentially, we're looking to approve to have a specification that is so we get apples to apples bids. Try and make it simple, put it back to what it was, and then reestablish the vegetation, take care of that damage that we probably couldn't get to this year. Any questions?
Questions to Joe from council?
How likely, I mean, and I know this is a hard question to probably respond to, but how likely is it that we're gonna have this same thing happen year over year?
The best answer I received is why the ice does that is years where you have warm spells in the middle of winter and then cold comes back. That variation is what triggers ice pushing shorelines. That's what Jake Free thought. Outside of that, I mean, it's speculation. You can speculate water levels, coldness. I haven't been able to figure it out. It seems to be once every 5 to 7 years you see ice push either the beach or shore view. Some years we've had east wind push the ice coming off. So it's kind of like predicting the weather, I guess.
No, right.
Any other questions?
Just to
comments?
kind of expand on it, to Brad's question, where I'm at on Shoreview, we hadn't had damage, excuse me, in 15 years. This year, we've got extensive damage and it's all basically up and down, but I think to Joe's point, that makes sense. And what happens is it's hydraulic pressure into the bank. You can't stop it.
Right.
At the end of the day, in today's world, Shoreview Lane wouldn't exist with houses. I mean, and there's a lot of other places that fit that, but it's.
And I would like to clarify that the riprap it protected the pavement. The pavement was not lifted or damaged. It took the damage. I think it should be a pretty straightforward putting things back to how they were.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Any other questions for Joe? All right. Hearing none. Do I have a motion to authorize Witseth to complete shore roof, shoulder, and riprap maintenance plan?
So move.
I have a motion from Councilmember Maroney. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Scott. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. Moving on to 8, departmental updates. 8A, State of City Address. That's me. So, after some discussion with Administrator Pofus, we're kind of landing on mid-June. I'm trying to think of the date we talked about, but I can't.
June
remember.
18th.
June 18th is kind of what we're looking for right now. So look at that. We haven't set it in stone yet. I do need to have a couple more conversations with the administrator on this. But that's kind of what we're looking for. We thought we'd be better to be into the mid or latter part of June so that more of our, kind of our summer residents are back and, are able to attend if they'd like to. So, and I kind of talked at the last council meeting, kind of what we're looking at. So, as we get more things put together, we definitely will keep the, council apprised of what's going on and that, but we wanted to let you know now because this is basically our May meeting. And so we'll have our June, but it'll be pretty close to it by then. So again, if the date for some reason changes, we'll let everybody know, but that's kind of what we're leaning towards right now is June 18th. So, hoping that all of you would be able to attend when we have that. 8B, first quarter financial report. Jeanette, were you gonna give us a little update?
I'm just gonna give you a couple of highlights on Q1.
Okay.
So general fund revenues were at
One
Jeanette,
real
could you
quick,
use the
Jen.
mic, please?
There, this should be better.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so Q1 closed with general fund revenues at 1.2% of the budget. The reason it's low is because 79% of our revenues are property taxes. We don't receive those till July and December, so that's on track. General fund expenditures are at 21.3%, and that is definitely on track for Q1. Our net position at the end of first quarter is a negative $862,306. There again, that's expected given the property tax timing collection. Overall, all funds combined, expenditures are at 19.4% of the budget, and that is on track for Q1. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Does the council have any questions for Jeanette? Keep up the good work.
Yes.
Outstanding work that you do for us. We know it takes a lot of time and effort. We know you went through an audit and got all that done, and so you can go woo now for a little bit,
Yes.
catch your breath.
Yes.
But appreciate all the work that you do, Jeanette. Do a great job. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, moving on. Item 8C, mobile food truck. Administrator Pofos.
Yes, one sec, let me pull up my, sorry about that. So the city was notified that there will be a food truck operating at 6799 County Road 11. This property is zoned urban reserve, and under our current code, the mobile food truck type of use is only permitted in our commercially zoned districts. Based on the advice from our legal counsel, staff plans to inform the owner that their operation is in violation of city code. This is more of a notification to the council that we will be doing that. The owner is pretty active on social media, so I just want you guys to be aware before we send them a letter, and if they post anything or get any negative comments, I just wanted you to be aware. And so did Jerry, so he'll be sending that letter shortly or contacting the homeowner.
Great, thank you for the update. Is there questions or comments from the council to the administrator on this? It's pretty straightforward. They're in violation of the ordinance, so.
And our legal counsel did not advise, because you could go through the code revision process or rezoning process, excuse me. He did not advise that and allowing it in a urban reserve, so.
Be a can of worms in my mind, so.
What is the, I guess, description, if you will, or
Yeah,
what's behind urban
it's
reserve? Yeah.
of urban reserve.
Yeah, of the, how the property is zoned.
Brad, you're quizzing me today.
Well, I mean, asking certainly with some thought in mind that while right now under ordinance, a food truck is only allowed in commercially zoned properties. Just sort of interested in how like far removed or different is an urban reserve in terms of like permitted uses and, you know, is there any similarities at all to potential commercial? I mean, this is a property that's very close to a commercial area, to the school. Just wondering if there's more there to consider, to think about, before coming out and just, providing notice to the property owner they're being in violation.
I'd be happy to follow up with the council on that. I do know there's a lot of urban reserves, so if you were to rezone all of the urban reserve, I don't think you would ever want to rezone urban reserve to commercial. I think the concern is that they are operating and they have, you know, tables set outside and they're operating a commercial business in their residential area with the traffic right from the school. And I think just a anecdote about mobile food trucks, I think there's a sentiment that, you know, for example, a business like North Star, they pay commercial property taxes. Mobile food truck, it's not the same. So that's just more anecdotally what I've gathered through my experience and concerns about mobile food trucks. But if they were to go in a commercially zoned area, that would be approved, I imagine. I don't know if I answered your question, though. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I just was thinking about, you know, not in every case, I think, is it worthwhile to explore what options potentially are there? How do we keep, because to me, a food truck in different ways is an amenity. I mean, it's nice to have, you know, in a community for different reasons. You know, is kind of given where this property is located, again, it's across, you know, the county road from a commercial zoned area. Yeah, I didn't know if there was some path or approach to seeing, I guess, how we can kind of work allowing a food truck there, kind of,
I will.
or
Yeah, I will say
don't know.
Jerry has been in contact with this owner and did invite them to the planning commission, and they did not attend. So I think he wanted them to,
okay.
you know, come and tell them about their business, and he invited, and that's all I know. I'm not sure what happened since then, but I do know they were invited to the planning commission meeting.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I think the definition that you can Google for urban reserve, the attorney's recommendation is appropriate. It's land designated for future urban development. I mean,
It's in the ordinance 153 dash or .037 too, and it just says, you know, it's planning for growth by using larger lot sizes, you know, allowing very low density residential and agricultural uses and land uses which promote or foster forestry. And then it's pretty lengthy. There's a number of like allowed without a permit, and then there's things that are permitted uses that require a permit, like public recreation or storage sheds, and then there's conditional uses like airports or golf courses, and then there's interim uses like game farm with hunting. So it's pretty lengthy, but I would agree with Councilman Jensen that it doesn't really seem to lean towards any sort of commercial use. Now, the definition.
Any other comments? All right. So proceed as well, and thank you for notifying the council of this. We do have a few other updates. We had, does Personnel Committee have any reports that they'd like to give? Councilmember Maroney, Councilmember Ball? Anything at this point that you want to address or no?
I can't remember. Yeah.
I can give an update. We did interviews for the planning and zoning administrator administrator position, and the personnel committee directed that I repost the position. So it has been reposted. I'm doing a little more active recruitment, sending it to the Sourcewell Planning and Zoning Group, a few other Minnesota planning and zoning groups, and reaching out to people I know to see if they, know anyone who's interested. So hopefully this round brings some good candidates. And I wanted to separately provide, to answer Councilmember Scott's question about the deferral process. So that's a state process by state statute. They would apply for deferral with the county, and then the city would if the county approves it, then the city would approve it with a resolution. Then it'd be certified to their taxes, whatever deferral would be approved. So it's a statutory process that the county mostly handles and the city kind of affirms.
All right, thank you.
All right. And then Finance Committee, Councilmember Scott and I are on that. I believe we have a meeting upcoming, do we not?
I believe so, yeah.
May-
Next week?
May
Next,
12th?
May 12th?
Yeah, I think 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Yep.
so a couple weeks. We have one, we'll be going over numbers with Jeanette and Ally, I believe, and some other things.
Study.
Yep, okay. Very good. So we have that coming up. And then Fire Board. We did have a meeting here recently with the chief and the city administrator and the mayor from Pequot regarding some things around the Joint Powers Board and our current agreement with regards to the fire district. It was a very good meeting. We had some good discussion, a couple of things that came out of it, and Councilmember Ball helped me and Administrator Polfus as well, because you were there, and as well as Jeanette was there too. So, anyway, one of the things we talked about is rebranding the fire district and changing the name away from any city-oriented name. The idea would be to look at maybe something in more of a general that outlines an area or something like that. One of the things we discussed and we have agreed upon is that the public will have an opportunity to have input with regards to that. And some sort of a contest potentially with the name or potentially with the actual patch that would then have to be redone for all, like the firefighters and all that, that kind of the emblem, so to speak. So there was some agreement there. There was a large discussion around the formula that we're using to fund the district right now. And there's been an agreement that we will be making some changes to the funding formula as well to make it more equitable across the board for all the parties involved, particularly the two cities, but then also to be looking at the contracted entities that contract out with us as well. And so we're going to be working on that. We have staff working on that. And then the third one, why can't I think of that? There was kind of like three things. What was the third one?
Like long-term planning? A website, yeah.
Yeah, website, and then kind of long-term planning and looking at what the bigger idea for the fire district is. Which ultimately, at the end of the day, if you understand the fire district, there's a couple that exist in our state that are true districts, and they are separate taxing districts. That's literally what they do. And so, if you look at the grand scheme, this is down the road, but the idea is that there would be a large district here that doesn't incorporate just Breezy and Pequot, but incorporates a lot of the surrounding communities. Chief Schwankel has stated that he's been doing some work with the surrounding departments, talking with the chiefs as well as in some cases the town boards regarding that. And it seems like there's been a pretty strong reception of a positive one towards the idea of an ultimate large district. So what's that look like? A long ways out, long ways down the road, a lot of things to do. But the key thing right now is looking at where are we going right now and how do we make this more equitable for the cities involved, the contracted entities, and then the branding of it to give more exposure to the idea that this is not just one city or another, but it's a group. It's a group. It's a bigger idea. So as those things move forward, we'll continue to apprise the council of what's going on. If there is any action the council has to take, of course, that will be brought to them and they'll be looking at that. So, but know that we're working to try and make it so that this is a fair, equitable district where the sides are all being recognized and seen in equal ways. So, so that's kind of where we're at. Did I miss anything on that, Councilmember Ball or Administrator Polfus or Jeanette? Or I know you guys were all at the meeting. Did I cover it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Has there been any discussion about additional fundraising? Ideal comes to mind. Their beef feed raises a lot of money, and it's, the Pequot Lakes Fire Department, now the fire district, traditionally has had to a breakfast like in October, which,
They do that, and they
But-
raise they don't probably raise the money like Ideal does.
but I mean, something where you can get community, I mean, Ideal draws from, there's a large,
Sure they do, yeah. So, no, I don't think there's been any discussion, and that would probably have to come through the Relief Association, because ultimately they're, yes, it is.
Not the board.
Yeah, so it's not us, that's kind of that fundraising takes place with regards to the Relief Association, which is who does the pancake breakfast right now, and brings in that money, to support the Relief Association with regards to supporting the firefighters.
Do a number of meat raffles.
Yeah, they do.
That are pretty successful, I
Yep.
think, as well.
Yeah,
I was just gonna mention, like, we had, also had our quarterly meeting.
Yes,
at the
thank you.
Beginning of
Please,
April.
I forgot that,
Too,
yes.
in addition to the other separate meeting. And just with that one, we, agreed, the board agreed to donate an ambulance that we had, that we were no longer using, to Lakes Area Heroes, so just to mention that. They're gonna use that, kinda decorate it up and use it for their nonprofit.
Yep.
And then we are looking at some of the officer job descriptions.
thank you, yes.
For how those individuals are chosen, so for the fire chief, and the captains, and then the assistant.
Assistant chief, yes, that's correct. Yeah, thank you for bringing that, I forgot we had that meeting as well. Well, it's crunched
like a long
together,
time
so,
ago.
yeah, so those are a couple things, and we're continuing to look at that whole concept with the fire chief, the assistant chief, and the captains. There were some ideas brought up by the board as well as the chief, and we kind of decided to table it so we could have more time to think about and discuss. It'll be brought back at the next one to make some decisions on how we do, because there's a couple different ways you can do it, and there's pros and cons to those, so we'll be looking at that. Thank you. No, is there anything else that met, between now and the last time? I don't think so. Planning and zoning, I think met, but I don't think Councilmember Maroney was unable to attend, so, anything from streets? They didn't meet, did they, or did they? Yes?
streets, a couple things.
Okay.
Looking at picking the 2027 road projects.
Okay.
So there was streets identified.
Okay.
The committee will be driving the roads, trying to rank them.
Okay.
1 to 5, 1 to 4. And the budget is approximately 400,000 at this point, so. Other than that, more to follow once, the streets have been identified.
Excellent. Thank you. Any questions on any of that? I think it's good. Sounds like it's right in line with what we had this year as far as the amount, so I like that. That's good. All right, Cemetery Commission?
Cemetery, the memorial pavers are delayed till fall or winter. The new columbarium sales, 10 have been sold to date.
Okay.
The big project this year will be the landscape update around the gazebo and the waterfall. Dirt and, the waterfall will be done, rebuilt in the fall, and then plantings possibly in the spring, because once you get that far out, there's not any plantings available, but,
Okay.
other than that, that's,
We still, is it Landsberg that helps with the landscaping and stuff?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, great. Excellent stuff. I think that covers everything. I do want to do one more thing. Aviation days are this weekend. So if you're around and you can make it out, I'd encourage you to come over. That's always a nice community event that we have, and appreciate all the work that they do over there. I know I'll make it over there and check things out, and I'm sure staff are gonna be there as normal selling golf cart.
No, we will not.
Oh, okay.
We are online now.
Oh, all right. Well, that's good to know. So if somebody comes up to me when I'm there and goes, "Where can we get a golf permit?"
Online.
Go online.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you for that update. Okay, sounds good.
As long as you're willing to pay the $5, right?
Yeah, yes. Thanks, Brad. Yes.
Did I see that the library is having an open house too?
They
then?
are, yeah. They will be, the women's club will be here with it open from 10 to 2. So people can
Excellent.
come and visit. Yep,
This weekend.
yep,
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you for bringing that up, Michael.
I saw the Facebook post.
yes.
All right, good deal. All right. Well, hearing nothing else, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
I have a motion from Councilmember Maroney. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Scott. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned at 7:40 PM.